Hi everyone, I am Christian Marie Belleza, and today I will going to discuss my report about wealth distribution. So what is distribution of wealth and income? Distribution of wealth and income is the way in which the wealth and income of a nation are divided among its population, or it is the way in which the wealth and income of the world are divided among nations. Such patterns of distribution are discerned and studied by various statistical means, all of which are based on data of varying degrees of reliability. Wealth is an accumulated store of possessions and financial claims. It may be given a monetary value if prices can be determined for each of the possessions. This process can be difficult when the possessions are such that they are not likely to be offered for sale. Income is a net total of the flow of payments received in a given time period. Classification system categorizes wealth and income on the basis of the ownership of factors of production, like labor, land, capital, and occasionally entrepreneurship, whose respective forms of income are labeled wages, rent, interest, and profit. Personal distribution statistics, usually developed from tax reports, categorize wealth and income on a per capita basis. So let us move on to poverty. Absolute poverty. Absolute poverty is a situation where individuals do not have access to the basic requirements of life, like food, shelter, and clothing. While relative poverty is a situation where individuals are excluded from being able to take part in what are considered the normal, acceptable standards of living in a society. Measurements of wealth distribution. Lorenz Curve. Lorenz Curve is a curve showing the proportion of national income earned by a given percentage of the population. For example, what proportion of national income is earned by the top 10% of the population? In this Lorenz curve chart, there's an orange line in the center. This line represents the situation if income was distributed equally. The poorest 10% would earn 10% of national income, and the poorest 30% would also earn 30% of national income. Lorenz curve will show the extent to which equality exists. The greater the gap between the line of equality and the curve, the greater the degree of inequality. In this example, let us look at the blue line. It means the poorest 30% of the population earn only 20% of the national income. In this second example, let us look at the red line. The Lorenz curve lies farther below the line of equality. Now, the poorest 30% only earns 70% of the national income. For measurements of wealth distribution, let us move on to Gini coefficient. Gini coefficient enables more precise comparison of Lorenz curves. The proportion of the area taken up by the Lorenz curve in relation to the overall area under the line of equality. The orange part is the total area under the line of equality. So because of the blue line, the area bounded by the Lorenz curve. Wealth is a stat as opposed to income, which represents a flow. Measures wealth at a point in time. Wealth can be measured by a reference to type of asset representing the stock. Types of assets: shares, houses, bank deposits, land, building society accounts, currency holdings, buildings, machinery and equipment, and gold. Income distribution. Income represents a flow. Pound per week, month, year, and etc. Income can be in the forms of wages, dividends, pensions, inheritance, rents, interest, benefit payments, and income from self-employment. Income can be earned income from employment, etc., or unearned income for the inheritance, benefit, payments, pension, and etc. So let's move on to taxation. The cost of taxation is market distortion, administrative costs, incentives, and may not impact because some will not be paying tax, can be avoided, may not be targeted at those who need the help. And next is the benefits of taxation. Has reduction in poverty levels, and it can be used to provide incentives. Legislation. Minimum wage. Targets those on low wages. But what is the right level? Discrimination. Reducing the impact of racial, sexual, and disabled incidences of discrimination. Last is regulation. Employment related regulation. Causes of inequality are individual and national. Individual ownership of resources like housing, land, and etc. Qualifications, motivation, skills, ability, and family size. National factor endowments like land, labor, and capital. Size and quality of labor force. Climate, stage of economic development. Economic power, and it has ability to be able to dictate terms with suppliers, buyers, and etc.